Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Terrence and Jill.
Baby, that's the camera.
Okay, so...
We're married. We're married now, so yeah.
Anything you can do to distract me, to get me off. But how's everybody doing? We're married now, as you can see. But next level in the journey.
Next level. We ain't editing it either.
But we wanted to come out to do a video to share with people that we are still here. We are continuing to grow. We are getting closer. God is doing a lot of things through us. But we wanted to really just say we are married.
We married.
The event took place about 45 days ago, and we are excited.
April 23rd, 2022.
Yes, so we want to just give you guys a little information, a little insight
highlights
about what happened during that weekend, our wedding, and what we took from that weekend, and just, you know, how God is continuously showing us how to grow as one. Yes.
Before we talk about the highlights, let's just apologize. I think one of the worst things of planning the wedding, because I'm not planning, believe it or not, y'all. I think I could do a lot of things, but event planning is not my thing. One of the probably the worst things that happened was the planning of the guest list. And so we do want to say we apologize for those who we could not invite. We got engaged during COVID. We started planning during COVID, and we pushed our wedding date back to 2022 with the hopes that, you know, nothing was going to interrupt it. But it also, because of that, we started off with, the hotel only gave us a limited amount of spaces because we thought we would have to spread out. So we started off with 75 guests. Then they let us go up to 100. Then we went back down to 75. And then towards the end of last year, we were able to push it back up to 150. So, but even 150, after going through all of the people we wanted to invite, it was still well over 150, almost to 300. And so for for us, like if you invited one person, you would have to invite a cluster of those people who are associated with that one person. So it was a very tough experience. Like the guest list was very, was challenging. I felt bad. And so we had to narrow it down to like, even like our cousins, like I'm close to a lot of my second and third and fourth cousins, but we had to narrow it down to like our first cousins. And so let's get that out the way. We apologize.
Yes. And you know, it's hard too because it is a wedding. You know, it's not like a birthday party or a family reunion where you can call somebody and say, you know, we're inviting you. We got a slot for you to bring a significant other, and then they take 3 or 4 weeks to try to figure out who they're going to bring. And it's like, we don't have that type of time because the date is coming. We're doing the sitting arrangements. So honestly, not trying to be disrespectful, not trying to be, you know, not understanding, but we need to know today so we can finish this
and fill that spot if you can't come.
It just, some of that could have come across a little harsh, and we apologize for that. But again, this is a wedding, and if any woman out there knows, you know, that it's your day, and you need that day to be as close to perfect as you want it to be, you know, to what your vision is possible. And some people, of course, you know, aren't going to be on your same schedule or your same deadline. So it was just hard to have those types of conversations, but we had to have them. So, you know, we just apologize to those individuals that those conversations could have taken place with. And for those of you that felt like you was left off the list, or we didn't leave you off the list, it was just hard putting, you know, that list together and going back and forth with the venue and everything. So it is what it is. However, there are a lot of pictures.
Yes.
There are, you know, there's going to be a video.
The video's coming. So yes.
So you guys will get an opportunity to see pictures and see the video when it comes. You know, we will do our due diligence to get that out to as many of you as possible.
And for those who did come, be patient with us. Give us some grace. thank you cards are going out. But since in the last 45 days since the wedding, so much has taken place.
Yes.
One of the biggest things is that we're moving, and we'll talk about that in later videos.
Again.
So it's like, so it's a lot going on. But we got some highlights we want to talk about. I got some highlights. He's going to talk about some of his highlights of the wedding. I don't know what his highlights are, but we're going to try to, talk about what the highlights were. Not just for the day, but it was a whole week of just bliss. So you want to start or do, you want me to go?
Sure, I can start.
So what's your first highlight?
Well, the biggest thing I think is going from the time we met, how we met, going through the courtship, all of those things building up to the engagement, and then going through that year of COVID, being engaged, all of those things, the limitations, the changes. The one thing I really can say stood out to me immediately was when we spoke to the venue from the beginning, we found out that there is a huge need for celebration. And from the time we spoke to the venue, the people that we invited, just all the people that helped out with all the arrangements for the wedding, there was such a big, huge need for people to want to celebrate and to have something positive. So we had so much fun as that weekend arrived and people started getting here, even from the venue. I mean, managers at the venue telling us how there were people coming that were from other venues. When they found out that there was going to be a wedding that weekend, they were coming to eat dinner there just so they can be a part of the celebration and sit in the dining room, at the swimming pool area, at the bar area, and just watch the wedding from afar because they wanted something to be excited about. So
because I think we were the first
wedding for them
since COVID, since the shutdown. So we were the first major wedding. We got married at the NBC Suites here in Charlotte, and so we were their first wedding. And it was funny because when we would go to meet with the hotel, they would be like, well, "Okay, we're hoping that y'all won't cancel. Y'all not coming to cancel." Yeah. We're like, "Nah, we ain't canceling this." So you're right.
Yeah, so that to me was one of the first things I saw about what was going on. I was like, "Oh, this is crazy. This wedding is larger than us." It wasn't even just about us celebrating, us being joined together. It was about everybody.
Yeah, everybody just wanted to come out and do something.
Celebrate.
Do something.
So it just took a life of its own, and I'm so pleased that it was our wedding that people found a comfort to say, you know what, I'm going. And I'm sitting, and like I said, we had people find out that they was in the swimming pool watching us get married, and they were like, oh my God, we was at the swimming pool, everybody was crying, and it's like, oh, this is crazy.
This is crazy.
So it just felt so great to be a part of something that was larger than us.
Yes, and to be outside, because the wedding we had a garden wedding outside, so yes.
So yeah, that would be the first thing that I think.
That was your first highlight?
My highlight would be, yes, absolutely.
So my highlight, the first highlight, and these are not in order, because, and this is other than us being joined as husband and wife. Yes. My first highlight is the vibe, and I guess it goes off to what you said. The whole vibe. I had said in the beginning that it wasn't so much a look that I was expecting, it was a feel. And the vibe was absolutely amazing. Yes. And let me just tell y'all, I wanted to have, of course, a God-Ordained a Christian ceremony, but I also wanted to have like dancing and all that great stuff, and that did take place. But the vibe was, when I say it was spirit-filled, we had gone to our premarital counseling session, and the pastor told us that because of our age and our story, that he thought that somewhere in the ceremony, we should do a special song or whatever and look at each other. And because we had already had it planned out, we was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to let the ceremony, because we had already had the programs printed up and all that great stuff. And so we had a song that we were going to actually exit out of. And so we had talked about this song for months, but there were two things that the first thing that we changed, even though we had the program, the first thing that we changed is that we wanted to do an altar call.
Yes.
So we did an altar call, a call to Christ. And the pastor said that was the first time he had ever, out of the hundreds of weddings he's ever performed, that was the first time a couple requested that. So we did have that. And the second thing, the night before the wedding, that week we had decided to change our exit song to a song called Best for Last by Donnie McClurkin and Yolanda Adams. And so we didn't even tell the wedding party that we were changing the song at the end. And so instead of there being a hype song coming out, we had a slow song with a deep message. So that was, the whole vibe was just, the whole vibe was just, of the whole, from Thursday to Sunday was just so like peaceful. I mean, there were a few hiccups. Tiffany, I know you're watching this video. Sorry, boo. That's my GGF, my good girlfriend. I had to kick her out of her room because it was a whole mix up with the rooms. Boo, I'm sorry, sis. I'm sorry. So it was a little hiccups like that. But overall, the vibe, like everybody there was no drama. There was just, everybody just came together. The relationships formed outside of, even now, there are friendships and relationships that are forming outside of us just because of the people who came to the wedding. So that would be my very first highlight. All right, what's your next one?
I think my next one is going to be the growth and what it did for people that were at the wedding. For an example, one of my nephews, my brothers, these guys, I love my family, I'm trying to tell you, but I know them, and the fact that we were in a suit,
or they were in a suit,
they were in a suit, because I wear suits, I don't have a problem with suits, but my brothers don't wear suits, my nephew didn't wear a suit, but after the wedding, that whole weekend or even, I won't even say just the weekend, that whole experience of going and getting measured for a suit, being fitted, having people to say, turn around, is that long enough? How does that feel? It changed their whole attitude, their whole mentality when it comes to how they represent themselves. And immediately after that, I got, family members saying, bruh, I think I'm going to start going there and order me, a couple more suits, and from here on out, I'm going to change how I dress. Just being a part of that experience and seeing their personal growth and how they want to now, wear a whole nother vibe of clothes, a whole nother set of clothing that they've never wore before, they wasn't comfortable in before. Just seeing people, that personal growth, opening their vision, expanding their vision, I guess is a better phrase. Being able to expand how they want to, what they see themselves doing in the future. It just changed a lot of things for everybody that showed up in their own individual ways. But I know for a fact, just those gentlemen being so close to me, I was able to actually converse with them and hear them say those things. That, I'm gonna start wearing suits more often. I'm gonna go back and forth and order, some more clothes. And even if they didn't go for the full suit, they was talking about sports jackets and all these. So I was sitting there thinking, when we came away from the wedding, I was like, wow. That is huge going forward, knowing that now when I see my family, some of the guys are going to be actually dressed in a totally different, set of clothes and standards that they've set for themselves as a part of them because they was a part of the wedding and going through that for the first time, just for the wedding. Now they want to do it on a more consistent basis. So that was really huge for me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was, I remember your brother saying that.
He even said that he would consider marriage now.
That was the other thing. He was like, I mean, y'all even got me wanting to get married. So like, yes.
Wow.
So and that piggybacks off of my number 2, because my number 2 is, man, when I say we got the best family, our family came. Not only did they come together, I mean, not only did they come to the wedding, but the Smiths merged with my family. And so I mean, when I tell y'all, the last year has been so challenging. We've talked about this. We moved down here. I moved down here. Terrence lives in the Charlotte area. I moved down from the Raleigh area, which is 2 hours away. But I was still commuting back and forth 4 days a week. And because of my commitment in the Raleigh-Durham area. And so the whole wedding planning, it was very stressful for me. I would leave out at like I would be up at 4 in the morning and not get home to like sometimes like after 8 p.m. So trying to plan a wedding, and it was just, I cried so many days. It's like so many days. So, but for my family to come together, my mother, like she was the mother of the bride, and I let her be the mother of the bride. She came in and stepped up and stepped through, and she did her duties. Aunt Val did the decorating. Oh my God! Remember you said that because we hadn't seen anything, and we were leaving from the wedding ceremony and going into the reception, and you said, who was it, Reese, who said you got to see the inside?
Yes.
I was like, and then when we walked in, and I was like, my aunts came together and put all of this together for us. Like, this is crazy. Like, I mean, they just stepped in and just like, I mean, just like, I didn't know what to do. Like, they came in and just did their thing. And then the night before the wedding, like, none of my family, well, the majority of my family, 99% of my family they don't live here. So when Friday night, they came in and they stepped out. Everything was at the hotel. We stayed at the hotel. The wedding ceremony and reception was at the hotel. But I would go in one room. It would be a group of cousins in there that are putting together the wedding favors. Then I would go in another room. It would be another group of cousins in there with my mother putting together the flowers, the flowers. It was like, then my sister and my sister-in-law, Terrence's sisters, we had like a little reception for all the guests, and they were downstairs cleaning and making sure. It was like, then my brother cousins that I call my brothers, they were making sure people was entertained. They had liquor, they had all of that stuff, what they do, but they were making sure that all the guys were entertained. It was like they came together. My aunt came together. She came and coordinated the wedding. It was my uncle came and did he played. It was like everybody came together. My girlfriends, it was I was like my family, like they got my back. Like they can, and those who did not help, they didn't have a problem putting money in our hands, and like it was just like, oh my God, it's like this, and that was part of the vibe that was created. And so oh my God. And then the kids, we had no kids. We invited no kids to the wedding except for those who were in the wedding. It was 3 kids. My great niece was our flower girl. My nephew was our Bible bearer. We had a Bible bearer, not a ring bearer. And then my other niece was our junior bridesmaid. But even the kids came and made it such a joyous occasion. And so that would be my second highlight, was like my family our family stepped up.
Wow. And I'm glad you said that, because that kind of, it actually almost is my third. And that is the relationships. For the families to come together, you'd think they've known each other for years. And even the ones that, most of them never even saw each other, never even conversed on the phone, any of that stuff until the event. But even to this day, even now, when we speak to certain people, we're learning that they're actually in great friendships now with people that they actually met at the wedding. And so these relationships, so the fact that that God has just showed up, and for each individual person that was there, whatever they were going through, whatever they had heavy on their hearts, whatever they needed to learn or grow or wanted to experience, God actually showed up and showed out for each and every one of them individually. And everybody came out of it. I remember your uncle telling me at the wedding, he's like, you know, we're down here, my wife and I and her sister and everything. This whole weekend is about you and Jill, you and Jill, you and Jill. It ain't about us. And how they just, what you guys don't know is that they're from up north. And all the planning was done over the telephone. And they didn't get down here until the night before the wedding. So my brother and I, along with some other folks that came with them, we jumped in to help them unload their trailers of all the stuff that they brought for not only where the wedding was going to take place, but also for the reception. And then the day of, they put this thing together in a matter of hours. So we never even had an idea to know what it was going to look like until we actually lined up to come out. And like she said, when Reese, one of the groomsmen, had an opportunity to go inside where the reception was, he came up to me and was like, bro, you have got to see what your reception is going to look like. He said, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And I mean, and that's saying a lot, because Reese is, all the guys that I had in the wedding have things going on in their own lives. And Reese spent a lot of time over in other countries because we're both veterans. So he spent a lot of time. So for him to go to weddings in the past and come up to me as excited as he was to say he has never seen anything like that in his life. And he's close to my age. Actually, I think Reese is older than me. But the point is, it was
a wow factor.
It was amazing.
Yeah, for him to, yeah.
It got us. We're out there in the hallway now. We're like excited, trying to, we almost wanting to rush everybody in just so we can see what everybody's been coming back one by one saying, oh my God, y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. So,
and when we walked in, is when we walked in for our first dance, and I was wild away. And we actually got a picture of us when we walked in our face. And then, when we got on the dance floor to dance, and we're dancing, and then these cold sparks come shoot. We was like, what the heck?
I thought we was going to jail. I was like, oh my God.
Like, what the heck?
This is going to start a fire. But
it was like
awesome.
They shot up out of it. It was absolutely beautiful. Yes. So that was your highlight, huh?
So that would be, I think, my third highlight is how it just affected each individual person, and how everybody, whether they had been sick before and they just needed to feel good, or whether they were just on, down on their luck and they wanted something to just celebrate or just give them some type of hope for the future, everybody got what they were looking for, what they needed. And I just love the fact that all these new relationships were formed.
Yeah. And and I'm telling you, we didn't know what each other's highlights would be. Yeah. That piggybacks off of my third highlight. My third highlight is, it will be the relationships and the connections and the conversations that were taking place over the wedding, or the course of the wedding, the weekend, but with our friends. And so two of my sisters, my sisters, my first cousin on my mom's side, my first cousin on my dad's side, and my two best friends, along with my niece and the other kids, they stood beside me as the bridal party. But then I had a group of GGFs, which I call my good girlfriends, that came from all over the country to celebrate us. And so my good girlfriend Robin from Maryland, she came down and sang. Robin Sugar Williams, and then all of our other friends, my girlfriends, Tiffany and Nikki and Priscilla and Dinita, Kathy, my girlfriend Kathy came up, surprised me and came up from Atlanta by herself. And then Niecy from Chicago. Yes. Niecy actually, sweet Niecy's, I actually met her on Instagram years ago, and she is a baker, and she was on the Food Network and the Big Bake Challenge and all that great stuff. She's phenomenal, and she flew our wedding cake in. Yes. So all of our good girlfriends, I don't want to leave anybody out, but like all of my good girlfriends came in. But one of the highlights is, this particular highlight is that the night before the wedding, before I had my personal time with my bridal party with my girls up in the suite, we connected. A group of us got together and talked about the Lord and talked about, you know, those things, which kind of is why this God-Ordained Union whole thing is made of. Talked about marriage and what could be stopping in the spirit realm. And because a lot of people think it's physical and mental, but most of it is spiritual. And so just to be able to talk and really talk about God and really get in deep conversation. And then that conversation went on without me. The next night after the wedding, I was told that a couple of them went into one of their suites and they, you know, continued the conversation to like 3 a.m. So that was like a highlight as well. Like, I mean, it was like, our wedding was just like, it was beautiful. It was just so beautiful. So yeah, those are the highlights. And so we will have a video. Our photographer is getting a video. But I remember after the wedding, what I tell you I wanted after the wedding. I was like, what I tell you I wanted. Do you remember? Do you be listening to me, baby?
We needed some rest after this was over with.
Yeah, but it was something else. I said, I wanted one thing. I said, during our honeymoon, we went on our honeymoon. I said, I wanted one thing. What did I say I wanted?
I think that was pancakes.
That's what it was. So he listens. I said, I want pancakes. I want pancakes. And so we found us an IHOP. And we had pancakes. Yep. So.
And you know, I think what brought all of this, everything that we just shared together, I think what the one thing that brought it to make a statement, to say not only are the things that we shared when we first met, the things that we shared when we first created this platform about how we met and how this platform came to be. I think it was culminated because of the fact at the wedding we did the altar call. I think that made it real to everybody that no matter what we were saying, the one thing that we've been very consistent on from the beginning is that this is a God-Ordained union. God put this together. And we appreciate everything that he's doing through us, everything he's doing for us, everything he's doing with us. And we wanted to make sure that we showed that reverence back to him during our event of our union. And we did that. And as a result, we've been blessed so many times over since that. And things have been on such a fast pace since the wedding and what he's doing with us now. So I would tell you guys, as the future comes and we put out more videos, please, please, please stay tuned. Look for our videos. Please, you know, share your feedback of what you think about them. And just let us know what it is you would like to see us do a video about in the future.
Speaking of that, baby, there was a comment on one of the videos, I think it was the last video, and I think it was a guy, and he asked, he said, do y'all live together? Do y'all, and this was, of course, before we were married. He said, do y'all live together? And I responded, yes and no. And he was like, I think he said something about, it's a simple question, it's either a yes or no. We're going to actually do a video, because that was one of the conversations we had, what I had with my girlfriends the night before the wedding. We're going to do a video on that about living together before marriage. Yes. We talked about it, and we're going to do a video because we want to share not just these good parts of being a God-Ordained union, but we're going to share what happened to us. Yes. All right, so we're going to share that, and we'll do it in the next video. Yeah. So the next video after this video, we will talk about living together before marriage. And what we got out of it, all right? And so that's it. So 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I hope this has been entertaining for you. I hope that you got something out of it that was positive, that was inspiring, that was uplifting for you, your family, your life. And, you know, we definitely look forward to sharing more of our journey, our experiences as we move forward.
Unedited. Yes. These ain't edited videos. We coming to y'all raw. What you see is what you get. And that's our photo back there from our wedding.
Yes.
That's that was the photo that was in the lobby of the hotel. So
yes.
Yep. So so there you have it. All right.
Yes. So until next time.
All right.
Deuces.
Deuces.